from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So I am back. This channel was offline for a week. I had a community strike. I could completely BS community strike from a review of Redacted. I did. Redacted was the audio drama, the Doctor Who audio drama from about a year ago. It was really very, very bad, and it had one major selling point, which I'm not going to mention now because that's what got me the strike, I think. It had a major selling point about the identity of the protagonists in them, and the protagonists just seemed like completely awful people. So that was hate speech. So that got my channel offline for a week. If it happens again, 2 weeks. Happened again, channel's gone, baby. Thankfully, Rumble was growing. Please go over to Rumble. Rumble's wonderful. Thank you very much, Rumble. So I was there, although actually, in truth, I took a couple of days off. I haven't done that for years. The day before yesterday was the first time, how long I can remember, that I didn't put out any content. It was really genuinely bizarre. We had a Jewish holiday, which involves lots of candy and getting drunk and dressing up. So, it's kind of a fun holiday. So that kind of took over my week. What can I tell you? So I took a couple of days off, but we're back. We're back. All my content I put on my other channel on Rumble should be appearing on my channel in the next couple of days or so. So thank you very much. Like, share, subscribe. Okay, here's the weirdest thing, right? The absolute weirdest thing. What effect did it have on my channel not being able to put content on it for a week? Zero. Weird. It was weird. The growth remained absolutely the same, right? Quite nice. I was quite happy with it. So that's strange, but okay, that happened anyway. Could you hit the subscribe button? That'd be really good. Like, share, subscribe. All those things are fan-dabby double dozy. Now, if you look in the video notes, you'll find a link to my Substack site. So I just stopped work on everything, and the one thing I'm working on right now is a AI Colin Baker reading this book, Millennial Rights. I'm taking a bit more time on it because I want it to come out a lot better. What I discovered, by the way, I'm also working on this one. Paul McGann reads AI. Paul McGann reads this great book. But what I've discovered is the Peter Capaldi voice is by far the best, right? Absolutely, by far the best. I keep plugging it. Dr. Alex wrote where is it, over here, season 13, a Capaldi season, and now he's having an AI Peter Capaldi read it. Freaking awesome, right? Freaking awesome. Go look up Dr. Alex on YouTube. It's really, really good. It feels real authentic. So that you get on my Substack. So please sign up for that. Plus, I've been sick. I've had a cough all week. So, I'm glad I'm not hacking over my screen. Much like that, right? We're on cue, baby. Fine, but we got a whole bunch of stuff went down. I'm not going to be able to cover everything because, there's a lot went down. But we're going to go over it. We're going to look at it. And maybe, I think quite probably, we're going to take the piss, baby. Oh, yes, we are going to take the piss. One of the things I do somewhat enjoy doing, taking the piss. Because you know what? I enjoy doing it. I'm pretty darn good at it. Okay, like, share, subscribe, comment, Substack, fine. Let's get into what's happened in the last few days. We got, this story. Now, this, I think, is one of the defining stories of the week. And it really weirdly echoes what's going on in the real world, right? We had a narrative for years and years and years and years and years that Jodie Whittaker didn't kill Doctor Who. No! It was a stunning and brave success. Anybody who doesn't like it is therefore a complete and total bigot, because that's the only reason anybody could possibly have ever criticized the Jodie Whittaker era. Now, quite frankly, this is just an insane lie. I mean, it's just an insane lie. It failed in every way, right? There is no way that you can say it succeeded other than if the goal was to destroy Doctor Who. And it very, very nearly did destroy Doctor Who. Make no mistake, that actually genuinely really happened. But for years we were told, no, you're a bigot. Well, now it's just a done deal. It's a thing. It happened. It's come out because it doesn't really matter anymore. It's weird. I'm watching this reflected in the real world because I look at reality holistically, right? Because I'm a crazy Bible thumper. I think God is real, right? I think God is real, which means I think there is kind of an infinite, universal thing that connects everything and all life. I think we're all interconnected, essentially, right? And I think you see ways of it. So just like this story, and over the last, I'd say, month or two, we've seen genre completely turn around. And we still see stupid things come out, but we still, generally speaking, we're seeing genre in a very major way completely turn around. Because, I just think that I think that's holistically what's going on in the world as well. I mean, this week I'm recording this, what was it, on Thursday the 9th. A couple of days ago, they started releasing footage from the January 6th, which had this relentless narrative. It was one thing, and now the footage that they kept hidden for 2 years is being released. It throws that narrative completely into disarray. So it's weird seeing it happen here and happen in the greater world as well, right? It's really genuinely bizarre, but I guess, weird stuff happens, baby. Fine, so let's look at this article from Giant Freaking Robot. Now we can finally say, oh, really? All that gaslighting's over, is it? Jodie Whittaker almost killed the entire Doctor Who franchise. Yes! Well, I mean, if you want to be more precise, it's more a combination of Jodie Whittaker, Chris Chibnall, Piers Wenger, and the chinless idiot wonders at the BBC management, right? The absolute morons that piled out of the I would say the toxic higher education system, which fills intelligent people's head with absolute, complete, total nonsense, right? People will tell you with complete, unshakable belief, they feel that, the Western world is a racist society. They feel America is a deeply racist place. It did it did elect a black person to be president twice. I mean, I in recent years, I don't know. Literally, I don't know anyone, and I don't think I've ever met anyone in decades who doesn't like black people for being black. But the people coming out higher education, they completely, totally believe it, unshakably. It is fact for them. It doesn't matter that it doesn't match up to their real world experience or your real world experience, right? Now, again, if you're black, I'm assuming you have experienced some racism from time to time. I'm Jewish. I've experienced it too, right? I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. That would be insane, right? But I'm just saying it's not a major force in the world. In my experience, if you can convince me otherwise, that's fine. But everything done to convince me that it is turned out to be not so true, right? So the idiots at BBC, they said they had a choice, right? And the choice is so insane. You could have the incredibly wonderful Toby Whithouse write another 2 or 3 years of the incredibly wonderful Peter Capaldi, right? You could do that and have people love it. Like, maybe why don't we treat it like the Jodie Who and put it on at a regular time, at a safe time slot, and see how it goes, right? We could have had that, but no. The BBC said that women are an oppressed underclass, especially white, blonde, college-educated women are a repressed underclass. It seems to me that's one of the most privileged groups of people in reality, right? In the universe. But white, blonde, wealthy, college-educated women, they're an underclass. So that's why they needed to re-educate the intrinsically racist and sexist Britain that a woman can do shit too. So which everybody believed up until this, right? And then I thought it would be good. I was wrong. So it didn't really go as well. So fine. So, beyond the obvious public health crisis and the tragically gigantic number of deaths that it caused, it didn't. I mean, come on, it was less people died than from flu, which is a lot, right? A lot. But, I don't know, the died suddenly thing seems to be a bit of a big deal as well. That happened to me. I mean, not me, I'm still alive, obviously. Really weird. Like a guy I know, genuinely lovely guy that everybody genuinely loved. I haven't seen him for 10, 15 years. Saw on Facebook on Sunday, right? He just died. I was like, what? I had no idea. So I was trying to find out. Did anything happen? Was he sick? No, died suddenly. I'm sure you know people who have died suddenly too. Yeah, a lot of that about nowadays, isn't there? So fine. The time-stopping virus will make its way to the sets of Hollywood, thank God. where it flipped productions like Supernatural upside down and almost caused the early retirement of Jodie Whittaker and Doctor Who. And really, I think I would have been fine with everything. I would have been fine with lockdown. I would have been fine with the vaccine. Give me another 5 vaccines if it meant getting rid of this early. Yes, I would have been on board for that. But sadly, no. During an interview with Radio Free Skaro, showrunner Chris Chibnall revealed that not only did Whittaker almost lose the chance of rounding out a time as the Doctor, and what a loss that would have been. It's so weird. Best stuff he's done has been the pandemic onward stuff, and it still wasn't very good because you had a completely unwatchable star in it, acting in drama that was written terribly. So with Radio Free, Christian revealed that losing chance of riding out her time as a Doctor, what the entire revamp of the beloved franchise, made famous again by David Tennant, was one step away from being completely wiped from the BBC slate. That doesn't sound like you've been overly successful to me, right? That doesn't sound like, oh yeah, that's going down well. That sounds, how shall we put this? Like you fucked up massively, right? That's what it sounds like to me. Like many of us, Chris Chibnall says the early days of COVID took a toll on Jodie Whittaker and the rest of the team behind season 13, behind the 13th season of Doctor Who, aka Doctor Who Flux. With the overwhelming possibility of the BBC will be unable to afford the production. I guarantee you, if it was David Tennant or Matt Smith, right, bringing in David Tennant or Matt Smith's numbers, they'll find a way. They would find a way. Well, what can you do? What I think was really going on was this. At the same time, the BBC was having their budget frozen by the Tory government. I would call it a right-wing Tory government, but it's really not, all right? It's kind of like the Tony Blair Labour government, right? That's really what it strikes me as. But anyway, they were freezing the funding of the BBC, so the BBC wanted to make the government look bad. So the way they want to make the government look bad is by cancelling the people's favourite shows. So what we can do? Government cuts, can't do anything about it. It's all the Tories' fault, right? Unfortunately, everybody hated this Doctor Who, so that plan didn't work out so well. Okay, and why they hate it? Because they followed the idiot instructions from the idiots running the BBC. Really, and look, if you are one of the people running the BBC, I'm saying this to help you, right? I actually am saying this to help you. Go and look in a mirror, look close in the mirror, and just say to yourself, every day, I am a moron. Every day, just say it to yourself, right? Because you need to get that in your head. You think because you're educated, you're not a moron. No, this proves you're a moron. So as Chibnall put it, where's the money coming from? How are we going to do this? It's too difficult. God, that is the tagline of the Chibnall era. It's too difficult. Adding that things got iffy. Got so iffy that they were down to wire and even believing the show was done. Oh, if only. Stepping up to the plate to make sure that all Jodie Whittaker and Doctor Who cast and crew had was not done in vain. Chibnall says there were certain things I had to get that season. There were certain things I had to do to get that season made. Chris, mate, whose cock did you suck? Because that's what it sounds like. It just sounds like you suck somebody's cock to get this piece of shit made, right? Listen, I can't really argue. I guess in Hollywood you have to suck somebody's cock to be the third lead in a Geico ad. So, it's par for the course. So apparently Chris Chibnall had to suck a dick to make Doctor Who Flux. Now that should be a headline. I had to suck a dick to make Doctor Who Flux. I had to suck a dick to make this shit. That's very naughty. He did. I'm misquoting. He didn't really say that at all. Fine. To get the season made. There are certain things I had to do. Get the season made. What? God, really, mate? Can you have? I mean, you're a writer. Well, not really, because you could have worded that better. Well, we didn't name what those sacrifices were. Oh boy! Yeah, he's being anally probed. He added, without them, there was no chance that the project would take flight for another season. What did you do? Really? Did you let Piers Wenger think your ass? What happened? I want to know. This is way more interesting than Doctor Who Bloody Flux was. They couldn't find a way to do it, but maybe you will if I help you out. Man, all that work for Doctor Who Flux, and it got panned by the critics. Like, right? I mean, really? There should be Chris Chibnall's interview. I had to suck a dick to make this, and now we're saying it's shit. Do you know what I had to do? That's what it sounds like to me. They couldn't find a way to do it, Doctor Who showrunner says, citing the cost of mega project like Doctor Who as a main reason for the slowdown. Out of everyone involved, Chibnall knew that he had to do right by the show's star and 13th Doctor. I mean, yeah, obviously, because she did so right by us. The award where he didn't do right by her when you're writing for her or telling her what the role of the Doctor was. You did, I would say, pretty shittily towards her at that point. Where are we up to? As an award-winning actress who's previously stole and broke hearts of audiences. Look, you broke more hearts playing Doctor Who in around the globe in Broadchurch, where she appeared opposite Doctor Who alum David Tennant and celebrated woman who turned down the role before Jodie Whittaker, Olivia Colman. Jodie Whittaker had already developed several opportunities to be involved in Doctor Who Flux. Dropped several opportunities to be involved in the Doctor Who Flux, Chibnall explains, that due to the production halt and the late pickup of schedules were thrown out of whack, with Whittaker being forced to either push her next role or back out altogether. Excuse me. There were no next roles. Will you stop with this bullshit? She's just filming something now. It's the first thing she filmed in over a bloody year. She had a kid. That takes 9 months, right? She didn't have any roles. The only thing she's been in is who did it? The Guardian, The Independent. They made a short film about the terrors of the interweb for children. I mean, right? That's not really a great, incredible success. Singing praises of not only Jodie Whittaker but the rest of the team. Well, I agree with the rest of the team. I'm sure they all worked hard, apart from the writers who were useless. Chibnall said that everyone behind Doctor Who Flux sacrificed love. We all had to suck a dick to make the show of the series was delivered. Rounding out Whittaker's run of the Time Lord was an especially important one, with the actress appearing as the very first woman in the role, first stepping in. And you were fucking awful, darling. I mean, let's just be fair. You were fucking awful. You were epically awful. I don't think anybody's ever really been as awful as you in a TV show in a long time. Is this over? Fine. Well, Doctor Who almost made us wise because of the COVID-19 pandemic, fans of the Chibnall, and the dedicated product, blah, blah, blah. No, yeah, bullshit. Okay. So, maybe a combination of COVID and it being an absolute complete failure nearly did this thing that it said absolutely didn't nearly happen. Yes, it did, you lying cunts, okay? Yes, it did. But even so, I just can't quit you. Jodie Whittaker and Joe Biden can't be Doctor Who's last female doctors. Well, the question is, will they be, right? I don't know. Look, I get the feeling Rusty Davies basically agrees with the same, political worldview as Chris Chibnall, but is somewhat pissed that he completely ballsed it up. And, it made awful TV, awful Doctor Who and awful TV with a horribly miscast actress. I think Jo Martin was slightly better, but just because she had better material, right? I mean, she even called Jodie Whittaker's Doctor stupid, which, who can really deny, all things being considered, right? Yeah, she is a moron. To mark this year's International Women's Day. So again, are women really an oppressed underclass in the Western world? I really doubt it, right? To mark this year's International Women's Day, sci-fi and fantasy editor Louise Griffin takes a look at why the castings can't just be something to tick off a list. That's all it was. I'm sorry, Jodie Whittaker was the definition of box ticking, right? That's all it freaking was. British TV landscape changed forever when Doctor Who's 13th Doctor revealed as Jodie Whittaker, and she was awful in the role, right? And she failed. Yes, don't miss out that important little factoid that, yes, she completely and totally failed. And she was given a complete chance by everyone. She started with the highest ratings, some of the highest ratings ever, ended with the lowest ratings ever, right? There's a reason for that, and it was not bloody Netflix. It's that it was shit. It was incompetent. I mean, that's why. When she pulled down her hood to reveal that for the first time in the 54-year history, the Time Lord will be played by a woman. Well, they kept saying it wasn't a big deal, but then it was the hugest deal ever. Again, did it work? I don't think so. I do not think so. Watching the reveal with bated breath was, as somebody who loved the show since the age of 9, I felt I expected unexpectedly emotional. Well, that was the point, right? They're trying to get you in your emotion and not your intellect, that's for sure. How do I know that? I've seen the episodes. There's nothing there for the intellect. I knew that other women who must had grown up watching Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant, and Matt Smith would feel the same. Now, again, this is a very feminine way of looking at the world. I know they want to say, they're so different, boys and girls are exactly the same. No, they're not. They're not. No one's superior, no one's inferior. But they are different. So the way women look at the world is they want to imprint themselves onto the characters that they are fantasizing about when they're children, right? They want to make themselves into Princess Buttercup, right? So girl characters have very few personality traits, right? So they make them bland so they can fit, the girls can fit themselves into it. Boys want to imprint the characters upon themselves. That's why masculine characters have very broad character traits, right? So yeah, it's great for you that you could see yourself as a doctor where you couldn't before, but the most of us was absolutely fine, right? Up until now, right? Most of us are absolutely fine. Again, I'm a fat Jewish guy. I got very little in common with Tom Bloody Baker. He was a monk. He was a monk from Liverpool, right? We are very different people. I related to his Doctor Who, and not because of his skin bloody colour, because of the ideas in his bloody head, the words coming out of his mouth. I think I'm probably going to relate to Ncuti Gatwa as well. As weirdly enough, our skin colours are different. How can that be? Because I'm not a shallow prick like these people. I mean, I'm a prick, but yeah, for different reasons. and I want to be clear, I'm reasonably shallow as well. Like, I didn't oppose Millie Gibson's casting, and she is easy on the eye. Let's be clear. I knew that we were all thinking that young girls watching Doctor Who with any hope would just take it for granted the Doctor could be a woman. And again, but you failed. You got to put that factor in, that it completely and totally failed. Of course she could be. The Doctor is an alien with two hearts from a planet called Gallifrey, who regenerates instead of dying. Surely no one could say that casting a woman was too far. Well, it depends why you did it. If you had a great idea about what you're going to do with this, then yeah, which I thought you had, you ignorant pieces of shit. I really thought you had a great idea. Like, oh, this is going to be interesting. Like, he spent, all his life, 2,000 years being a man, now he's being a woman. Yeah, there's got to be, a weird way of looking at that. Now, it does really go against the established law until halfway through the Capaldi years, when again, it's all BBC putting this nonsense in. Unfortunately, and very particularly, of course, people said that. Well, again, you know what? That was a teeny tiny minority voice, which I didn't share. I was on board. I was excited. I I'm not as excited as I am for Judy Gutwer, who I really genuinely think will be brilliant. I just didn't think it could be as unbelievably incompetent and unprofessional as it actually was. I mean, it blew my mind. Anyway, we're up to. Unfortunately, very predictably, people say, while it wasn't a majority view, so why are you making it into a thing then? You didn't have to look far to find somebody saying the show had become too woke or politically correct. Well, no, you found people saying that after her episodes aired, didn't you? Right. You remember that? Yeah. After episode aired. Why? Because they were too woke. I mean, woke. What does that even mean? I don't understand it. Now they're actually using the word woke. I see it. These things. It means woke is using a franchise, an successful franchise, to platform and several forms of ideology. Essentially turning into propaganda, which is what it was. Yes, so that happened, right? I come from a planet of boys give birth to boys and girls give birth to girls. Oh, and we love the Thyats. Fuck off. Meanwhile, the great Sylvester McCoy, who started as the Seventh Doctor, brutally doubted the cultural need for a female Doctor, later apologising. Oh, I'm so bad, me, Sylvester McCoy. One of the nicest human beings ever, from what I can understand. Yeah. Later apologised for comments saying that Jodie won him over in minutes. How? Oh, really? What's your favourite episode with Jodie? Yeah, tell me what you like about her acting choices. Really, I want to know. What specific acting choice did you think, oh, yes, that really sells the Doctor to me? Come on, answers on the postcard. Put it in the comments. Thankfully, then showrunner Chris Chibnall had no qualms about seeming too woke. Well, yeah, until we saw the ratings, right? At that point, the qualms seemed to come into play, right? There seemed to be quite a few bloody qualms come into play, didn't they? Did you notice that? Did you notice, again, with the entire rest of genre, have you noticed how I like the complete and total turnaround, right? Yes, we have noticed, right? You do have qualms, because the qualms are people don't watch this unbelievable shit that you have made, right? Essentially speaking, right? People just do not watch it. Here we go. Let's remind ourselves of the ratings for a second. Doink. Yeah. Right. And that one spike over here. Can I highlight that? This one spike and this other spike. This bike is John Barrowman, and this bike is David Tennant, right? Other than that, complete failure, right? Complete and total failure. Has seen no qualms about being too woke. No, he loved being too woke. He loved going to cocktail bars and go, oh, Chris, you're so stunning. You're so brave. Oh, so stunning. So brave. Yeah, yes. He had no qualms about getting a hand job from whoever it was for a stunning and brave use of women. And then he had to suck some of his cock to make more. Yeah, what goes around comes around, baby. That's all I can say. And continued with the vision, introducing Joe Martin as the fugitive Doctor in December 2020. Something apparently they didn't really think through. I think the world has changed. The show hasn't. Critics should go and have a look at some of the past episodes, he told metricco.uk. Yeah, I did. I watched all your episodes really closely, and they were unprofessionally written. They had massive plot holes. Your Rosa Parks episode rotated around the idea that black people would still have no rights in America 50 centuries later if Rosa Parks wasn't told to get up from her seat, right? What a dumb idea. What an absolute dumb idea. And why did you portray all the white people as being like, black people bad? I mean, you've literally portrayed people from the Third Reich in Germany as sympathetic. In Doctor fucking Who! And those you can be sympathetic, but in your idiotic cartoon Rosa world, you can't do that. No. See, that's why Doctor Who was always successful, because it was clever. Something that both Chris Chibnall and clearly Jodie Whittaker are not. It wasn't a huge release to see Doctor Who now doing the work to ensure Britain's most iconic sci-fi genre that stereotypically had been associated with men. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, stereotypically associated with men. Successfully, it's associated with men. Why was it stereotypical? Because it always worked. When you associated the role with women, it failed. Well, what do I mean by fail? Maybe I'm being cruel. No, that's a failure. That's a failure right there. Okay. It was a huge relief. That's exactly what Chris Chibnall gave the higher-ups of BBC to make more Doctor Who. To see the Doctor now doing the work that was stereotypically associated with the men, but has been hugely influenced by women throughout history, was representing female viewership. Again. It's a complete failure. After all, it's because it wasn't representing women either. Okay, women like the Doctor being masculine too. Considering it's a show that began in the 60s, it's widely accepted the Doctor's female representation hasn't been exactly flawless over the years. We agree. Carol Ann Ford, but again, putting one true fact in doesn't make all the others fall apart, does it? Well, I guess it does in their idiot little minds. Carol Ann Ford, who played the first companion, recently told the Radio Times she wished she could have broken the mold on TV. Look, I hate to tell you, Carol Ann Ford and who was it? Vicky. Who played Vicky? I can't remember. They were always fine with their role in Doctor Who up until about 2015. And then it's like, oh, I wanted to do more. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. Oh, I could have done more. Sexist. In 2015, you seem pretty happy with it. Don't remember you complaining at the 50th anniversary. No. Yeah. And this is what I think is the problem with the world today. You know, this ideology that has been platformed in Doctor Who in the Chris Chibnall years. Has it made the world better? Has it made people happier? Has it increased the overall happiness in the world? No, I think it's failed in the same way Doctor Who failed. It's made people more miserable. I mean, certainly if you look at the political situation, made us poorer, made the world more dangerous. We're at World War III, basically. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Huge recession. And all this is from the same idiot ideas that made this idiot Doctor Who. No, not this one. This awesome Doctor Who. Imagine getting on horseback and running away from the Daleks. That would have been so much more fun to do than just trying to find a little corridor where I could hide. Yeah, darling, I don't think there was room for a horse in Lime Grove Studio. Ford added, oh no, Leela is wearing a vaguely low-cut costume. Oh, how pure sexism. It could have been, but Louise Jameson added so much depth and intelligence to the role that I think she I think she transcended her costume, quite frankly. I wouldn't mind seeing that as well. But I really do. I genuinely, man, she's just so gorgeous. It's just, I'm sorry, she's very attractive. What do you want at me? But she does have incredibly perfect bone structure. Again, it's not my fault, mate. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. Human beings like looking at attractive human beings, right? Be they male or female, right? Attractive human beings get an easier run in life. Why? Because they're attractive human beings. Ford added, I could have done all sorts of stunts. I was very fit. I saw Billy Piper do that incredible swinging on ropes above a fiery pit in the 2005 episode Rose. I thought, that's not fair. I could have done that. Oh, God. And again, you were perfectly happy 5 years ago. Or 7 years ago. 8 years ago now, blimey, that's how long this is going on for. There are so many things I kept thinking, that's not fair! Why didn't I get the chance to do that? Oh, whatever. Meanwhile, Louise Jameson, who was introduced as leader in 76, recently pointed out some issues with the costume. Well, actually, she said the exact opposite. When I look back, I was an hour and a half in makeup. Well, they darkened my skin and they gave me red contact lenses to make my eyes brown. It was a costume that, for all my feminism, was rather questionable. Yes, that's true. Yeah, I mean, again, you were objectified because you were extremely beautiful. Yes, that is factual. But equally, I think you took that opportunity and you made it into an incredibly powerful career. You weren't just some, eye candy. Yeah, Louise Jameson was actually a three-dimensional character. But here, she explains everything and puts everything into perspective. But we're talking about the 70s here. I had a knife, which would probably be never allowed now. That's very true. When you look back, you think of it as an era, and I was incredibly lucky to be given the job at that time. Yeah, you were. And again, you took that piece of luck, and you, with your talent and your intelligence and your skill, you turned that into a very, very strong, vibrant career. And good for you, and you deserve to be able to do that. And honestly, I genuinely like. I'll probably watch Louise Jameson pretty much anything, because I just think she's such an intelligent actress, right? And I think that intelligence is as important to the success of Leela as her stunning, incredible beauty, which there was a lot of, right? But I think not ignoring one and talking about the other is just weird. So she just said you're wrong. You think this person writing this thinks the 70s and the 80s was some like racist, bigoted hellscape, right? Where women were barefoot and pregnant and not allowed out the bloody kitchen. No. It was not like that. Of course, while it's important to look back at Doctor Who's history of female representation, it'll be massively unfair to judge it by today's standards. As Jameson points out, it was of its era. So what's wrong with that then, right? Like, why are you renting your clothes over this? What we can do is look to the future. Showrunners Rusty Davis, Stephen Moffat, and Chibnall have cast incredible actresses in roles that just wouldn't be the same without Michelle Gomez as Missy. Yes. That, I think, is one of the greatest bit of casting in Doctor Who history. Absolutely fantastic. And that's why I think the gender swap with the Master Missy really worked, right? I think Michelle Gomez was unique and individual as a master, but still had that through line of insanity and evil and everything of that the master had. She struck me as and also she looked kind of like Ainley, right? She kind of like had Ainley's lips. It was weird, but yeah. So she had that. Alex Kingston, River Song. Well, look, she was okay, but she could have easily been. Who was it? Tracy Ann Oberman. They both went up for the same role. They're pretty entertaining. Freeman Agyeman as Martha Jones. Again, it's not that she was hard on the eyes now, was it? Right? She was very, very beautiful. I don't think her costume was any more revealing than Louise Jameson, but you don't see anybody having a conniption about that. And never forgetting Camille Cabaudry as the inimitable Jackie Tyler, who I love. Everybody loves Jackie Tyler. Rose Tyler, Billy Piper's Rose Tyler. That was controversial casting at the time. We're like, who's this pop singer? It's going to be a companion. And she was excellent. Really good. Again, Rusty Davis, excellent. And there's no one I would trust more with the new era that returning showrunner Rusty Davis was shooting cut was surely about to dazzle us as he takes over the keys of the TARDIS. Plus, from the show's very beginnings and continuing today, we've had a brilliant women behind the camera from producers to directors. So why are they treating it like women were kept barefoot and pregnant? You can't have it both ways. Well, I guess they can. They do, don't they? But it doesn't stop there. Put simply, Whittaker and Martin can't be the last female doctors. I think they might be, frankly. I mean, I don't know. It depends how long Doctor Who lasts after this, right? I think it's going to be very big coming back. I think the world is changing, right? I think we're swinging away from the cultural insanity of the last 7 years. I just don't think it's tenable any longer. Not with the recession and war that's come with this insane ideology, right? It's none of that's really bit yet, right? That's about to really bite down hard, I think, this year. But it doesn't stop there. Put simply, when it can't be the last female doctors, it's not something that we can just tick off the list. It's because it failed. Right? Good luck doing it again. It's not an era of Doctor Who that we can just leave in the past now. It's not even that. It's going to be retconned away. Russell was retconning it away because it was garbage. The casting of both actresses was a brilliant choice. No, she was terrible. But also concerningly divisive. Again, what is it you liked about Jodie Whittaker's acting choices? Why did you like the Doctor being portrayed as a clueless buffoon with no agency? Right? Why is that? Why was that important to you? Because the clueless buffoon with no agency had a vagina? That made it all okay? Really? You made women look stupid. That's really the bottom line. Proving that there's still a huge amount of work to do. No! The work to do is on your fucking end and actually produce something watchable, which you haven't done. Yes, there's a huge amount of work to do. And you fucked it up for the last 7 years, idiot. So yes, you've got a lot of work to do, and I don't see you being able to do it, frankly. Right? Whittaker herself has described the terrifying sexism and rage that she encountered after being cast in 2017. She's lying. She's lying. There was no terrifying rage. Fuck off. It's a lie. Yeah, that never happened. This article said, in this same article, it said it was a tiny minority. And it was. Rage? Shut up, idiot. It goes without saying that it's completely unacceptable. And also, it's unacceptable to lie about it. Do you think it's okay? Yeah. This absolute reinvention of the recent history is unacceptable. You are lying. Whittaker is lying. But unfortunately, it won't stop until these loudmouth critics get used to seeing women in roles that they'll rather stay reserved for straight white men. You idiot fucking cunt, okay? You are just an idiot cunt. You know, the reason that you fail, the reason that these people completely and totally fail, and I succeed, right? Because I understand what they think. They have no idea what I think, right? Because they can't listen to anything outside their own idiot heads. It's nothing to do with her identity. It was to do with her absolute inability to do the job that she was highly paid to do. She destroyed Doctor Who with her idiot portrayal because she was miscast and had a showrunner who was incompetent. Yeah, so don't blame straight white men, you idiot, you ignorant idiot, moron. Right? It's so offensive. As it reaches the 60th year, Doctor Who is thriving is thriving and still has a huge amount of influence over the TV landscape. Nearly cancelled though, wasn't it? Nearly destroyed. Oh, but it's all good. With that comes responsibility to ensure that viewership is represented. Why? Why? No, it's the responsibility to make sure that the viewership feels entertained and they can connect to the characters. That's what your responsibility is for. That's what representation is. A position that the show clearly takes very seriously. If it continues with that, maybe one day we'll have a female doctor like we all hope the little girls watching Whittaker did with Whittaker. No, they didn't. Because look at this. See those ratings? Those ratings show you there weren't any little girls watching. You know why there weren't any little girls watching, save for the ones that whose parents were Guardian readers, who tied them to chairs to force them to watch this unwatchable garbage, right? There weren't any little girls watching, because nobody was fucking watching, because it was unfucking watchable! God, why was unwatchable? Because it was incompetent in every freaking way, right? It was blisteringly, mind-blowingly incompetent, and so it failed. And you weren't able to hide that failure behind Jodie Whittaker's vagina. Amazingly enough, right? That's just amazing. But for you, the idiots in the media, oh yes, that vagina cures all sins, right? And somehow you're not the sexist ones. Weird, but true. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.